Hello people, in this video I'm going to talk about Countif, that you probably know as Contar.Si, which is a function that is super cool because it allows us to count cells that meet a certain condition, but in this case we are the ones who are going to decide that condition. Because in functions like count blank or count, the condition is already given by the function. Count blank counts cells that are empty. Count cells which have numbers. In this case, Countif is going to count cells that meet a certain condition that we decide. So that is super cool because we can now count any cell regarding that and use a condition that we decide. So the arguments of these functions are these ones. Let's see if I can do this right. Great. So the first argument is the range. It's the same argument that we had in the other functions that count. So in this case, the range is the range of cells. The function is going to count if they meet the condition. So what's good about this function, as I was saying, is that we also have this argument, which is the criteria. So here we need to write the condition used to check which cells the function is going to count. So let's see how this works. Here we have an example of students and grades of these students. Let's say we want to know how many students have a grade bigger than 6. So we will have to use a Countif because I want to count, okay, the students who have in this column a number bigger than 6. So to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Countif function. Countif. I'm going to tell it where to look first. So if I said I want to count the number of students which grade bigger than 6, I will have to give Excel the information of the grades of the students. So, and that is in this range here. Perfect. Now I need to tell Excel, okay, from those cells that I just gave, which cells Excel has to count. So the ones bigger than 6. So let's type bigger than 6. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do to use Countif. Knowing which range to choose and which condition to add later. What's tricky about Countif is knowing how to write the condition sometimes. Because as you can see here, I didn't just write bigger than 6. I did it with quotation marks. And that is because if I don't use quotation marks, Excel is going to give me an error like this. So when you start, this is very important. When you start a condition or any argument of a function with a symbol like the plus symbol, well, I think the plus doesn't really matter that much, but with a symbol like equal sign, bigger than or less than, those symbols are going to give you that error, and to make it go away, you need to use quotation marks like this. So as you can see, this works perfectly. I now have 3, which is counting this one, and this one. What happens if I also want to include the 6? Because 6 is normally the passing grade, so maybe that's what I wanted. I want to know how many students have 6 or more. In that case, I will have to use bigger than 5. So right now it's also counting this 6. Okay, so now let's go to a different example, because we can also use Countif to count cells that have text, for example. So here I have a list of products, and I want to know how many how many apples I have in this list. Obviously, I'm using examples which are really short, just to make a point. I obviously can tell that I have 3 apples in this list, but we have to imagine that we are working with really long lists, which is really hard to count all the values ourselves manually. So in this case, we're going to use Countif again. We are going to choose the range where the information is. In this case, it's here. And the next thing we need to choose is the criteria. That in this case, I want the cells that say Apple. So what I can do is just write Apple. I don't even need to use the equal sign. Just by writing one value, like a number, or in this case text, Excel is going to look for the cells which have the exact same value. And like that, it's counting 3. If I add another apple here, it's going to count 4, etc. So that's pretty much it about the Countif function. We just give it a range, that is a range of cells that has some values, and then a condition which is going to tell the function, okay, from these values that I just showed you, I want to count the ones that meet this condition. I hope this video really helps you, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye!